Okay, folks, we're going to get ourselves into that draft and get ourselves ready for Game 3. The fact that we're in a Game 3 is something altogether a different kind of issue. OMG somehow lost that last game with an 8,000 gold lead, even with huge leads across the board. Really feels like it has gone down to the wire. IG, before this series, I thought they'd be the favorites coming in, but OMG, they really slapped them in Game 2, particularly up until they lost the game. We're here out of Game 3, and we are seeing ourselves Rengar ban. We're seeing ourselves the Kai'Sa ban. IG don't ban the LeBlanc, and that to me is so surprising. The fact that they ban away all of these other things, but they don't get rid of Angel's LeBlanc is putting Nani on the chopping board again. What are they going to do? I mean, is Nani going to go towards the LeBlanc himself and just hope that our Angel doesn't outplay him on another champion? Are you going to go for 3 games of Yone? It's helped their team fights, but it hasn't helped anything else. Likely Leona first pick coming through. I feel like Ashe has been criminally underrated in this series too. Instead, no, we have gone completely off the rails. No Leona, no LeBlanc. It's the LeBlanc. It's the Cannon first lock-in for YSKM. It's a takeaway from Harry. He won't have the Aatrox to counter it this time, which he was doing quite well within a laning phase in a team fight setting. Again, everything was really powerful up until that last throw. So OMG, their next round of picks, likely going towards that Leona. I think that makes a lot of sense. It's a good takeaway from Vampire as well. Wouldn't surprise me to see them lock in even something like that Vi for Tianzhen, get himself towards something a bit more comfortable as well. That Kindred was good in the early game, but that late game was absolutely horrific. OMG, what are they valuing right now? Could also take away an AD carry, go towards something like that Ashe, even though it's dangerous into the cannon. It can control the map so well. Of course, Angel's LeBlanc. Power pick for OMG. He has been running the map in both these games, so it's going to be Nani now asked to find an answer yet again into that LeBlanc, which he hasn't been able to do so far. Is it going to be third time the charm for something else? GLFS takes himself the Kindred, and Nani picks the Galio. So Galio will get bullied in early lane versus the LeBlanc. We have seen IG beat out NIP using this combination as well. That Galio into Rookie's LeBlanc in the group stage won them a series there. It does end up becoming a really problematic pick for LeBlanc to deal with, just because you end up going towards stuff like the Abyssal Mask, or more particularly early on as well, you end up going for the Hollow Radiance as a early game kind of like wave clear item, which gives you some magic resistance. I'm cracking open a cold one with the boys. You can end up hearing that one in the background. Sam running back and forth to get ourselves some refreshments. It has been first series of the day, and it has been brutal. So Cassante locked in for Harry. He doesn't have himself kind of like a particular counter towards that cannon. I feel like the top lane matchup has been much more towards OMG's side than I had considered before. I thought that Harry has played well in this series so far, but he has now got himself a heavily losing matchup. Sam bogs and plonks his way back onto the cast. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I was hoping to make that a little bit more elegant, and it was not. This is going very smoothly though. I will note that, okay, so we've actually seen the Kindred Galio combo, I assume you've spoken about already. It's something that we saw a lot in LDL. We didn't see it anywhere near as much up in LPL, but what often happened is as the Fearless drafts went on, you'd see combos like this, especially if you trusted your jungler to pull this one off. I wonder whether GLFS can do it. Had a solid enough game on the Lilia, which he first picked, didn't manage to pick up the win, and actually a pretty good Sejuani game, but this will be a different kettle of fish entirely. You're going to be requested and asked to be very much the tip of the spear alongside the cannon to get real value out of Nani on Gary.
I think this Ashe has been very low priority for a while. Now the problem here, OMG have been giving good flanks over to IG, and you're picking yourself in a mobile carry. You are going to be picking a mobile carry one way or another. I think the Ashe could be very powerful. Ashe Leona very strong, but it does feel like his Sam cracks up for the call with the voice as well. Folks, we need the energy right now. He's going to leave his AD carry till last pick, but Starry has been such a weakness for OMG in this series. I wonder what the problem is now. Do you just try and this last pick, does it save him, or does it just delay the inevitable? Arn still has lane dominant picks. They banned away the Braum and that Draven, which are very powerful in lane, and they're very good for Arn, but it does feel like Starry is still going to have a really difficult lane. You don't have the easy AD carries now.
And there's a debate here between the Misfortune and the Kalista. Go towards the Kalista, and strictly now, particularly with the Kalista in, you could flex the Galio support. I won't say it's going to be done, because I think something like the Rel is much more likely for Vampire, but it might have been a while where they tried something a bit spicy. Decide against it, but they've got themselves very strong brawling comp, very strong ability to go forward with a lot of different members.
Yeah, I really like this all-in engage comp from IG. Look, they're a team which likes to pile on. This is going to be one which really works with that. You can see that at the end of the day, Starry doesn't really have a mobile AD carry to play anymore that can survive through that combo. So what are you going for? The Ashe is lane dominant. It works well into the Callista because of that volley and the auto attacks and slow Callista's auto attacks. That Hawk shot is going to have to be an absolute mega UAV for OMG to make sure that they don't end up falling prey to those flanks. I am, yeah, getting a little bit worried here for OMG. They don't have any damage from Tianzhen or Harry realistically. They're not going to be big carries. And I think that Starry being asked to do more carrying is going to be hard because OMG have such a good, one, such a good engage comp into that Ashe, but two, he has been struggling so much. It's almost like OMG has been playing without an AD carry.
Yeah, and the problem here is you're going to be asked in this game to position well. And I think Starry's weakest part has been that teamfight positioning. We've seen him really struggle to find pockets to deal damage in, find pockets to be safe in general. It's not going to be very easy this game with all of the tools to jump on top of what is a very immobile carry, especially if the flash is down. Again, Tianzhen onto something a little bit more comfortable again. Very known for that Lee Sin down in LPL, of course, but every jungler down in LPL is known for Lee Sin. That shouldn't really be a surprise here in the LPL. Has got Angels LeBlanc for the 3rd time in a row. They can absolutely pop off if they get snowballing.
This series is so important to both teams. OMG were expected to be one of our very bottom teams, and yet they've won their first 2 series. If they win a 3rd, that makes it a trend. It makes it a bit of a climbing up the ladder as well of the teams and the expected opponents being favorites as well. IG, they came in as favorites, but they're currently at 1 and 2. If they lose this series, they're at 1 and 3, and that means they are on death's door for the Nirvana group, and they'll have to go find themselves another reincarnation to find themselves back to this point in 2025. They are on death's door. OMG could have put them to the sword, couldn't manage it in game 2. We have it all on the line in game 3.
Time to see who comes out on top in this battle of the bands here in the Grunge group. Onto the Rift we go. Final game between Invictus Gaming and OMG. Fans are well and truly fired up. You can understand why. It's been 2 very interesting games. OMG have largely proven to be better for large portions until it matters the most. In game 1, they managed to hold their nerve and win the game regardless of some serious heroics, particularly from Angel. Game 2, they had 2 inhibitors down. They were up 8,500 gold. It was over. And then it wasn't.
It was over and then it continued in the opposite direction. It went full into reverse and OMG somehow lost into that game 2. So now it's GLFS going towards that Kindred. I think that GLFS has been really good on all forms of the AD farming junglers. I think that his Viego's been pretty good, but largely it's been his Graves, which I was very impressed with. Now going on towards that Kindred with the Galio over the top. It's very Season 8. Very Season 8, we saw KT Rolster, one of the best teams in the world, playing that all those years ago. This is a combo which has occasionally reared its head, and it allows GLFS to be a wrecking ball.
And has actually decided against the Scorch Claw. I know I normally said that is the standard on Kindred, and said the Moss Stomper doesn't feel as good, because in general it's been nerfed over the years from the errors of Tank Diana running it and that kind of thing in the jungle, but we're still going to go towards it, especially because I think we'll be asked to be a little bit of a face-checking Kindred with the Galio
So,
behind.
funny you talk about it being standard. The Kindreds we have seen in LPL have all gone towards that Moss Stomper. So in terms of the standard and pro, it's still that Moss Stomper. So maybe in solo queue, the Scorch Claw is more of a prominent thing, but just being able to survive with that overshield can end up helping. Quite importantly, on Vampire, on a lane-dominant duo, they have done well at these kind of punishing plays in bot lane, particularly through on a Vampire combing up around these brushes as well. Starry and PP God, they have been one of the weakest in this group, and IG, in an important game for them, find themselves at 1,000 games in the LPL. This team has been around since the old days. They have been around since the start of the LPL. They are not in their glorious golden era right now. They're far from it, but they are still competing here after all this time. You know what? It just feels nice to see these storied organizations keep at it and just, yeah, keep being here and show results.
On the other side, OMG. I shudder to think how many games they've played at this point. Them alongside the likes of WE have been here a very long time indeed. Perhaps with less success in recent years. Of course, OMG of last year were looking like they might be something really quite special. This time around, quite as successful on the Rift, looking to turn their fortunes around here in the Nirvana.
Okay, you can see that Angel bullying out Nani has gone for the Aftershock. It's really hard to proc your Aftershock here as well. A lot of the time, the LeBlanc just ends up going towards like really nasty auto-attract trades onto you. Kind of surprised they didn't go towards the first strike, but that has been something that's been nerfed after a while. You can see that Angel just trying to fish for these free autos, trying to deny Nani as much CS. In the first wave, stood behind the minion wave and just made sure that Nani was outside of XP range and is now a little bit down.
Discuss the way Angel has played this lane into Nani in general over the series, but we've got in the lane here, so I'm just going to hold on and see whether this lane gank comes on through. Likely just shielding against what might be the Lee Sin engage.
There's a minion advantage for OMG, and you have all summoners there with an exhaust. It's quite hard to find anything particularly big. Tianjin is going to walk down. He's going to be seen just helping the crash come through. They'll see that ward die right there, right now. GLFS spotted.
That's a bit ugly. Gets hit with a Zenith Blade, and Tianjin stuck in the minions. Doesn't really get to go on forwards. Finally safeguards in, gets into the backline, and first blood comes across regardless, and now Tianjin's too deep. OMG, it's a disaster play in the bot lane.
Tianjin gets stuck in the wave and pulls his safeguard late. He can't get his Q on target, and it means that PP God goes down and 2 flashes are blown. Vampire still has flash. There's a bit of a danger point there. OMG, massively misplay in the bot lane once again. PP God and Starry really struggling here as IG just looked to see that guy just stuck in the minion wave. What can you do when you can't get that Q on target early on?
She couldn't get in range for a safeguard, I guess. Either didn't have ward up or something. Either way, it was a bit of a mess. Now in danger, though, the bot lane. Everyone's really low, and Starry can keep them all down here.
Still a flash on Vampire. So now, this could be a bit of an issue.
Boy.
You can stop this recall coming through, and you've now got PP God back. You still don't have summoners. No mid lanes coming through. You've managed to stop them from getting back. This is important. They still don't have that kill gold and assist gold spent. It means that because OMG managed to stop this amount of kind of minions getting picked up by IG, they're going to lose out on some XP, they're going to lose out on some gold. Starry is a full level ahead of Arn, so even though they lose the kill, I feel like actually Arn is in quite a difficult spot now, being down so much CS and XP.
And again, it was the Rel that picked up the kill as well, so it's not like there's that much gold in Arn's inventory that he's waiting on. So gets back with Berserker Greaves at least, and that's always a huge spike for the Kalista.
That it is. So that's going to be really important. And Arn and Vampire, once again, finding a decent laning play. I feel like their laning phase has been the peak of their play so far. Good two-man Zenith Blade, and gets his Eclipse on point too. But the big thing here is this Tianjin gets minion blocked. He gets minion blocked. Tianjin, if he doesn't get minion blocked, he can get onto the target more quickly, and maybe PP God can stick around for an extra auto, knowing it'll be a 1-for-1. GLFS does end up blowing the flash, but both flashes end up coming back as Vampire gets a good crash down. Vampire, good value in that play. But OMG, they are kind of ruining their own allied minions there for the minion block.
That one really sucks a little bit, as I don't think he was quite in range of the safeguard either, if I know my Lee Sin ranges.
No.
So
well, that's the point. He's not in range of it. He got minion blocked out of that range, which means he can't end up getting that play.
By the way, couldn't manage to make that one happen. So no real way across the minions in a reasonable time frame. Quite a lot, really is. Now, in the end, though, still a relatively even bot lane, as we said, with the exception of that support difference. It's got Merc Treads early for Vampire, which could be huge.
That is so huge, those Merc Treads. Still, boots for both the AD carries, very important. Starry now with approach velocity and the tier 2 boots. Look, you can see that approach velocity hanging around them. You get so much movement speed with this build. Once you get to the point where you get, like, Kraken Slayer and particularly when you go towards the Phantom Dancer as well, you get a ridiculous amount of movement speed, and it means that you just kind of, like, take off as soon as you get any amount of slow. Angel, doing well in this mid lane, but you expect the LeBlanc to be ahead a significant margin. Nani's going to go towards that Hollow Radiance first item, and at that point, it really does feel quite hard for LeBlanc to have that same kind of pressure. You can't go towards the AD LeBlanc like you used to.
Tianjin just about staying out of range of those Sentinels, that's the name of them, for Kalista. So GLFS back towards the spot lane. Potentially looking for another return, looking towards this duo of PP God and Starry, but decides against it. He did aggro the dragon as well, but I think with the Lee Sin around, still not the easiest matchup. Slicing Maelstrom pulled by YSK, in part to clear out the wave.
I'm not really sure about that one. It clips it a little bit. It means that Harry can't get a full crash in. PP God has the exhaust still. Didn't end up... well, I think he might have used that earlier, but just because it's such a low cooldown, might come back. I can't even remember now, realistically, in regards to that one. OMG maybe trying to force... oh, that's an ult at level 6. It's going to be a swing and a miss. GLFS is here.
An unknown quantity can look to hop on forwards as a Shadowing Strike into the crash down on PP God, who's in danger. GLFS now exhausted, but I think it's too little too late. PP God slain a Spear of Longinus, courtesy of Arn.
Oh, this bot lane from OMG is just really struggled. Vampire flashing forwards, but it's a wasted flash. Tianjin has himself that W out to safety. Even though you have the level 6 Lee Sin, they miss that Ash arrow. They don't spot where GLFS is, even with the Hawk shots across the map. You know, OMG have themselves 2 kills into this lane, which is so important for them. Arn is so important to this team. The fact that he's 1-0-1 on a pick, which is early lane dominant, is very, very important to them. Angel doesn't get himself the chain on target, does now. It's going to be a little bit of damage, but again, you got the Merc Treads already. Nani's not going to get blown out in this matchup nearly as hard.
Problem is, though, I've seen GLFS start up this dragon twice now and have to pull off it. So for all they've gotten these kills in the bot lane, they've not really translated that into anything but gold yet. Got a single grub to their name as well.
Yeah, Tianjin's going to take down this dragon. But again, just the fact that you are playing with an Ashe that's going to get stomped on by, like, the Kennen Galio combo is a problem. The fact that your Leona is 0-2 and is down gold is a problem, because that's someone who needs to tank out, then engage and block it out. OMG, like, misplaying these fights so heavily on bot side is a big issue. And IG, you know, I've criticized Vampire for a great many things. His laning is one of the better parts of his game, though. And I feel like in here he's been very good. Maybe it's the lock camera keeps it on his lane, but he ends up like making some really good punishing plays around here, and I think that's been a consistent part of his game. And it does mean that OMG are now playing against a deficit, against a lane dominant duo with a duo of their own, which is going to struggle in the team fights.
And there we have it. OMG still behind here, and again we've heard where the discrepancies lie and why that could be problematic. At least OMG have got the early dragon, and the early grubs haven't entirely snowballed here for IG. As we said, it's only the single one according to the scoreboard at the top. You can see GLFS picking that one up, so I'm assuming it was just a brief look in. There's the arrow.
Swing and a miss. Starry, he's tried to influence the game, hasn't quite managed to. Ult pulled out from YSKM. It's not going to do that much. He's got the boots and he's got the Haunting Guys, so there's extra damage in the extended trades, but Starry 0 for 2 on the arrows right now.
4 hops away. Trade there briefly as the winds of war come crashing around Angel.
You can see already, just Nady shrugs off a lot of this damage. You are expecting a gold leak, so you can zone the Galio off of CS, but it's not really going to be that game-changing, like it was with the Yone, where you could genuinely stop the Yone from having a lot of value. This guy's going to keep doing the same thing. GLFS will now return back to the other grubs. OMG didn't really want to go heavily towards top side, but I think with the cannon and Nani having the ult there too. Galio ultimate is a long cooldown, but it is off cooldown, so you don't necessarily want to be flying in towards that. You weren't realistically going to be contesting for that at all. 3 grubs early for IG.
Coming on across. I don't know whether there'll be time for them to respawn before they die for the trade of the Herald is.
No, because you can see with the logo, if you can tell by the logo, if it's the grub logo, so that's the Herald logo there. Yeah. So you have in the top left is whatever spawns on the top side of the map. You have the grub logo, then this is the Herald logo, and then you have the Baron logo after. I have to say that in different overlays, you kind of get different information through there, but that should tell you what comes through.
That's helpful. That's good to know. I appreciate that little bit of heads up. And once again, I think it's going to be too late. Glad to have it confirmed. And there's Arn and Vampire though. Begin to look in to put some more wards and stuff down here. Starry puts one across the wall there, aware there might be some danger, and immediately has it swept away.
And OMG, what do you do now? Because you have losing top lane. Mid lane's going to get wave cleared. Look, you're going to get a CS lead as LeBlanc. It's just, what does it matter? You're not getting... You've got 1 turret plate. Okay. What are you doing for the map? You're not doing that much right now. It's not like you're being a huge pressure point. Tianjin is playing back in his own jungle. See that GLFS has that 1 mark, which is quite important just to kind of keep that spawning... keep that taking over. But, you know, the fact that this bot lane got so much pressure and has achieved nothing with it is a huge issue for OMG. They misplayed multiple times now. The minion block just missing their ultimates too. And that second play towards there has opened up IG to get like a full lane lock state. This has been a good early game from IG. Their best early game of the series.
Oh, by far. And on the other hand, you're looking at someone like Tianjin who's locked in this Lee Sin. 2 looks in bot lane have gone wrong for different reasons, and yet to really pair up with the LeBlanc. You feel like that's partly what the combo is locked in for, is to have those 2 really kick it off in the mid game. And first item done for the LeBlanc. You're not quite there for the Lee Sin, but you need to start looking for something in the next 5 minutes or so, or this game is going to be pretty lights out, you'd imagine.
You just wish you could have the AD LeBlanc against this Galio. That makes that matchup so much easier. You just can't do that. This is why Galio is always an annoying answer into the LeBlanc, because yes, you can force him back, but what does it matter? Later on, he just stands and wave clears, and then you can just ult away from you at that point. So, OMG, they're going to go walk in now across the map. Tianjin and PP got potentially on a bit of a roam if they want to do towards that.
Yes, it was. Towards the top side, we see Gank coming on, and Harry will go all out and drag the Kindred away, but will have that ability to throw down the ultimate, maybe required to, does so. Not taking turret aggro quite yet. There's a Q, nearly into the arrow, not quite enough, but here come the rest of Invictus Gaming to finally kill off this Cassante.
Why is he pushed up that far? And if he is pushed up that far, why isn't Tianjin or PP God there? The misunderstanding from Harry and what he can do in lane costs him. He plays it out well, but realistically, no one's going to work it towards him there. YSCam doesn't have the ult now. If the chain lands, he's in trouble. The kick does first.
Q comes on in. The damage afterwards will be donated over towards Tianjin, and they do make it a 1-for-1 in the grand scheme of things.
Right, that's something. But Tianjin with gold is not necessarily the most valuable person to have it on. If you can get that onto the LeBlanc so they can snowball to a point where you get like a Crypt Bloom next or something like that, maybe they can start running over the matchup a little harder versus the Gallia. OMG get on the board, but you know, the more I'm thinking about this game, the more I'm thinking, why didn't they just win game 2? This one's looking quite difficult. IG are in a great position now. They're ahead in gold. They have a Kennen who's getting up to a point of power against an Ashe who's not really at a point of power themselves. If the Ashe dies, OMG run out of damage. Angel can do a lot, but he can't carry this game alone, I don't think. Not into the Rel and the Galio and the Kindred ultimates. It gets really, really hard. So that's going to be something which that they're going to have to be worried about, or OMG. They don't have the grubs this time either to help them win through side lanes.
Game gets hyper late. You wonder whether the Leona and Cassante just frontline difference might make something, because you do end up in a position where particularly the Kalista can be a little bit harder to get damage out of, but in some ways I don't think we're even going to get to that point. It's not like they're going to have no options later on either.
Yeah, so there are no second round of grubs. Herald's coming up. You don't have that. You do have the ultimate coming from Tianjin very shortly. It's just not up quite just yet. I was just trying to read that icon a little bit smaller. It's going to be quite hard with that one because it's just shaded out. On the other side, IG, they're going down towards that dragon. That does mean that OMG, they're peeling off of the Herald. They don't really get to test this dragon, I don't think. They might go towards Harry. He's overextended again. There's an ultimate for YSCam. This isn't looking great. They don't have a teleport from Angel. That's a dead Cassandra.
W flashes away, gets out to safety.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, YSCam. Now that's a problem because now YSCam doesn't have his ultimate. Next big fight of the game, maybe things become more problematic with it. You have a mark here though for GLFS. He'll get himself up to 2 marks from that one. OMG will take themselves that help. I was wondering if they'd come down and contest that dragon now that the cannon ult is also down. And then he's putting his head in towards top, so I don't think he realistically wants to do much else except spot that it's there. This is this is good Safari League of Legends. Walking up, spotting the wildlife, in this case fighting, and then getting information from it.
Take a quick snapshot for your family / teammates back home, but then you don't stick around. You don't live there. You're on holiday, guys.
I'm not Safari League of Legends, folks, is watching objectives go down and not doing anything about it. It is one of my least favorite things to do in League of Legends. I'm sure it's great to do in real life. Don't do it on the Rift. If you're going to go towards an objective, do something with it, whether that is contest or look for a cross map or something like that. That would be the important point. Herald, put into mid lane, trying to open up this mid lane out of turret. Is there wave clear here just yet? No. Is it going to be enough to take down the entire turret? I think it is.
Ooh, get that one. Flash on in from Vampire. Gets into the backline. That's a lot of damage on Starry. Tianjin, I apologize, who goes on down. No ability to get out there with the safeguards.
I am very surprised that Starry and PP God didn't just throw their ultimates to try and buy some time. Now, because Tianjin is down, there's going to be a potential of the Herald, not the Herald, but the push back onto this mid lane now. There is still engage here from the Calistral if they want to go in. Wave clear should be enough for now, but I feel like OMG just kind of left Tianjin out to dry.
Stepping on forward, actually gets chunked pretty heavily into the arrow, does so much damage back, won't quite get the kill. There's the Galio ultimate they were waiting for. They do earn that ultimate, the mark will not be taken.
So that's important. Now that ultimate is down and you don't really have any cooldown reduction. It is at that second rank, so it's a little shorter. It's still a bloody long cooldown though, that Galio ultimate. Maybe OMG can play for a wider set of picks. The Galio, when his ultimate is up, is very, very powerful. When it's down, he doesn't bring that much to the team.
Not necessarily. Very important utility, obviously, from that, and it's very good pairing with a load of the divers, with the Kindred. You've got options here in terms of whether you play it defensively or aggressively. And will be often required, I think, here into the likes of the LeBlanc and the Lee Sin, who are going to want to burst out a target. You can see why Angel was kind of hesitant to go on forwards again, because they were aware it was very much that ability to respond from a long way away.
I will say, OMG, they've not been fighting very well, and I think they've been misplaying quite a lot. Getting that mid lane out of turret does help. Getting that quite easily with that Herald can give them a lot more options to maybe push up and force Arn and Vampire to play a bit more defensively. I think that when you've got Arn at 2-0 and 2, keeping him back in that lane is really, really important. OMG not having grubs sucks, because if Angel can just keep hitting this, it's really, really important. Yeah, you do have, you know, magic resist. Magic Pen works on towers. It's one of the ways that they made mages more relevant at killing towers. You go back 10 years ago to Season 4, you have to pick double AD carry comps to kill towers more quickly. But yeah, they can still take her towers pretty well, but it's not nearly as easily when they had like 5 grubs in the past games before this. Angel can't necessarily win through side lanes very easily, and Harry is down 2,000 gold. He's never getting near a tower.
No, but on the other hand, this Cassante will continue to prove pretty obnoxious. Not that great tank killing, unless the Kindred starts to get the 3 marks. Kalista not always the best, requires a lot of spears in, and you don't want to be in spear range versus the Cassante with all of his ability to pull you back with a Q3 and stuff. So if Cassante can get to, say, 3 items, might be trickier to manage.
So the pushback I have on that is that this cannon build is really good at killing tanks. Because it's not the
yeah.
Protobell cannon. You have the Leandra. So between having that and you have to itemize magic resist, you can get dunked on. Angel, he'd love to have his teammates here. He might have a teleport coming through from Harry, but they're going straight for it.
It's across for now. Flash away afterwards. Does have to burn the additional summon that gets out alive.
Yeah, I was worried maybe that Vampire was just within the edge of Q range. They have themselves 3 grubs. Can they take this full turret? Maybe. Just about. So IG get themselves a win in that side lane. On the other side, the crossfire from OMG is slow. Harry was pushed back from that turret. Nothing's really happening there right now. Tianjin will be able to take that bottom crab, which will be the mark for GLFS, so he's going to be slowed down in his mark taking. But I mean, OMG are behind in the map. IG, for once, are starting to get themselves, like, breathing room. They get themselves breathing room. For the rest of the series, they haven't done so. And this is the problem I had, like, looking at this matchup. I think that OMG can contend with IG. I do still think they are a little bit behind them. They have failed in some of these clutch moments. In Game 2, that was more than failing in a clutch moment. That was just throwing the game handedly away from them. They should have won this series, but this is the problem with a team like OMG. It's a lot of new members coming together. Starry is not the starting AD carry from the start of this year, so that's one roster change. They've changed out Angel and Longfeng apart. He hasn't always been in the roster, but that's maybe call out a half roster change. Tianjin's been changed. Harry's been changed. So you have yourself, what, 3.5 roster changes for this team? YSCam has come in for IG. That has changed some things for them as well, but largely OMG is the team which is dealing with the most turbulence in this.
It was definitely the position that they found themselves in. This is the most difficult position OMG have found in all series, I think, in terms of their early game. They had such strong early games. Now IG get to return the favor. And, you know, I'm glad you called it out as well, because I'm so used to considering Kennen more of a burst champion than sort of that consistent damage, especially with AD Kennen disappearing a little bit from relevancy over the last few years, that you're right, it's still going to be difficult to manage in the side lane. And now it's also like, well, how do you find a pick to turn things around as OMG? Because what your comp does when there's, you know, all of the CC, when there's the ability to respond with a land spike, with the call to Galio for a 1-800 help me.
Dragon up in 10 seconds now. Are there good flank wards? Yes, there are. YSCam currently on the bot side of the map, has flash, has teleport, can either go in for an organic flank, he built this one at home, or he can start teleporting into the fray. That teleport is Nani. Of course, that's going to be important too. That Galio ultimate at that second rank has that 1.5 item point. Isn't that far behind LeBlanc either. OMG, I don't think they win the big team fight. This is a big problem. Starry has done nothing with his arrows. YSCam is found out by Harry. Angel's here.
The chunk misses the chains though, forces the early ultimate. There's the Galio afterwards. Harry gets knocked up, not in danger quite yet. Now is in danger as the follow-up with the crash down magnet storm is absolutely gorgeous.
Angel tries to wait around to give Harry an E target to increase that range, but he just leaves himself out in the open. OMG, they don't end up winning the grouped up fights. They don't end up winning the split one here either. YSCam gets out, and OMG starting to rue again that game 2 loss. An absolute throw from them as IG start putting on the afterburners, start pulling off the combos. Vampire can maybe go, I think maybe he's gone too far there actually, but he does have the back down. And he has the Callister ultimate. He can play as safely as he wants.
And he goes on in, gets another stun, but that'll be Starry immediately cleansing on out. It is that full. CC of some variety.
Yeah, that one is pretty nasty. So, IG get themselves mid lane turret, they get themselves dragon, they get themselves 2 kills. This game is going so well for them, and this is kind of the OMG which I was afraid to see, the one which is, you know, sleepwalking into fights. And IG, you know, you could argue that they, oh, hang on, catching
not bad. That easy to kill. He's still got flash. And there might be a Kindred ultimate available for him. Flashes away to safety. Gets a knock-up on the Tianjin. He was trying to get something more, but now Wise giving it to the backline. Blowed up. Does go down. Angel picks up that one. Now GLFS in danger. Reminder, Baron has spawned, and you're about to lose your Kindred. Lambda Spider's down, but I don't think a DRX logo is going to keep you alive for all that much longer. Going for some more. Finally gets the kill. Kalista gets one back, but now they continue to run people down as the slows come on down from this Ashe. Finally, Pokeball is summoned to bring them out of the fight, but I think there's too many members fainted. They're going right back to the Pokemon Center.
Yeah, they Volt switch out of there, but they will not be able to go towards the Baron. It feels like OMG, they put themselves into the right position of the map, and OMG, though they have not been the better team this game, they were in that moment. You have Arn alive, he has Flash, he has stuns, but he can't get here. OMG find the play which bring them back into the game. Just when we were criticizing them for not being the team that were good in the clutch, they get themselves the Baron, which might open up something in this game. There's no Revenge Dragon on the other side. That's not up for 3.5 minutes. They're not losing turrets to a cross map. And now suddenly, we start asking that question, right, you have this LeBlanc who's still strong in the side lane. Can that now lead to something? Nani is really, really goddamn tanky. He's not dying here very easily. I feel like IG just need to leave him to die. I feel like you just say, okay, look, it's not worth teleporting into this. They teleport into a Callista Sentinel, in case you were wondering about that one. GLFS has to flash out too. Massive overstep from the top side of IG, and it feels like Arn and Vampire were just never close enough to respond. The top side of IG just losing their minds, really.
He got eventually falls, but the damage is so ways is already done. You lose 3 members, you lose Baron, IG right back in it, and that got a lot for the Ashe as well, who's nearly at that 3rd item. Phantom Dancer, Kraken Slayer is so good for the Ashe. Your ability to space people with all of those fluid auto attacks feels really, really good this game.
So OMG already 2,000 gold up from the power play. You can see that Nani pushing in that top side to try and get a wave under control, but OMG, this could be the moment that stabilizes them. If we now get to the point where Starry can start doing damage, that's a problem. He's going to go towards that Infinity Edge next. There isn't that much armor for IG. They've been largely going towards magic resist. You've got the Hollow Radiance, you have the Merc Treads, 3 Merc Treads across the board. That isn't going to help you against Ashe's damage. Gets the arrow, but once again, Starry's arrow accuracy has been goddamn awful this game. He's like firing with both his eyes closed.
Trying to think the YSK might step forward to Lightning Rush the lane. Won't quite happen in the picture-in-picture. The mid lane tier 2 stays alive. Angel, though, gets a huge chunk on one who immediately has to flash away. Callista down there. PP God looking for the center play, but it was blind.
OMG! Hit your CC! Goddamn, Angel is sat there going like, well, I'll do it myself. He gets a great chunk in the flash out of Arn. Doesn't even have to blow his flash for that. They still have themselves a minute of Baron buff, which means that Arn, now without that flash and having to play backwards, might open up an opening for Angel to take this mid lane in a turret. It was at a low amount of HP, and I think it will do. Nady can't wave clear this. He can get CC, but he's not going to get the wave clear through that. And now suddenly OMG, they get themselves a really good amount of gold.
They've got a crap team for clearing Baron buffs to IG. No one wants to be close enough to wave to do that. It gets really tricky in these scenarios. You can see already. Oh, my days of damage onto the Kindred. Not quite enough to get the kill. The Magnus Storm after is solid hitting. In danger. Will get knocked up, but W's it super well. Goes all out. Will likely fall. Footwork away. Kick out. Stays alive.
And LMG choose not to go for the fight because Angel is taking an inhibitor turret. They still have 25 seconds left of the Baron buff. Angel can go almost get himself a full inhib at this point. OMG, I don't know what the hell's happening with these recalls, but IG, they don't even come back to defend this one. Angel still has himself a good amount. They're teleporting back in towards boss side, and IG, moment of madness. They can't catch the carries. Again, another poor engage.
Through it all, he offers them attention and gets on out with some comfort and affection, trying to make this one, whether the plays are right or wrong, teleports in behind, and Robbie Williams can wait a second or two.
YSK, yeah, and there's no flash on Starry.
Grounded on 4, likely about 4's Harry buys time with 3 though. This Kazante proving so difficult to take down. And now Angel coming on over again. Stays alive for now, and we all back away. OMG really coming to play now.
Yeah, I really feel like, again, we're going back to that famous book series. It's a Game of Thrones. And I guess typically you say it like you either win or you die. I feel like both these teams aren't exactly on the winning mentality today. IG, they were so far ahead in this game. They find themselves now behind in gold from a huge Baron power play coming from OMG. They get to go back towards that Baron, stop IG getting towards Soul Point. OMG have somehow clutched that in this game, and credit to him, Starry has had a better game. I thought he was going to be dying on cooldown. He's 27 minutes into this game and hasn't died once to the huge combo that can come on top of his head. No summoners right now, but still, IG have failed to kill target number 1.
Angel in danger. Here's PP God though to defend. Angel does have flash, yet to be forced to blow it. Has got the distortion on a low enough cooldown to back away for now.
I can't believe this is the kind of series getting with 2 these. Well, okay, I can. But this is what I'm saying. Look, when you're trying to think about these games in particular in the Nirvana group, things are just really messy. These are teams which have flaws, and those flaws don't always match up in the way that you expect. We knew that Angel was going to be better than Nani in terms of an individual laner. That has become a huge problem in this series. I didn't expect Arn to be that much better than Starry. He has been. That's made it much more even that way. I think that Harry for most of this series has been better than YSK, but this game, of course, has been all YSK, but Harry's still been doing well at his job in team fights. The fact that OMG have ramped up a little bit from the last series has thrown this into a bit more of disarray. They're very even right now. OMG really opening up the map. There's 1 turret left for IG outside of their base.
Infinity Edge now for the Ashe. And reminder, that scales with the passive. It increases the slows you do on auto. So now with the Phantom Dancer on top of that, your ability to get onto the Ashe without a full commit is very limited.
Also worth noting as well, so Merc Treads reduce the duration of CC, not the effectiveness of the CC. So if you go Swiftness Boots, you get slowed less. But if you go Mercury Treads, you get slowed for less amount of time. Problem is, if you're trying to run away from the Ashes, continue auto-attacking you, they don't matter shit all. Particularly because they have themselves, you know, they haven't built a huge amount of armor. You can see that Arn is going towards he's going towards a shield bow maybe? No, he'll be going towards the Witch essentially, or Wit's End. Look, he's going towards, yeah, that's Wit's End, that's the one. It really does feel like Arn, even though he has been the best AD carry in this series by a long shot, he has been probably the best player on the Rift this series, is going to fall out of relevance at some point. I think that OMG are getting to a point where they're really, really comfortable.
It is proving very, very difficult. And honestly, credit over to Harry as well after a tricky early game. Has been such an annoying bulwark to get through.
You know what, folks? I try not to do this because I like to pay attention to the game, but Baron spawning in 10 seconds, and one thing which we need to talk about is the arrow. Hits on, he has cleanse. It shouldn't be that problematic, but he has to blow that one. Starry hits one at this point, but as I was saying, Ghost Spider Gwen in chat, very rightfully pointing out, 2 stacks on Kindred. We are currently 28 minutes in, and IG were winning most of this game. They don't get themselves any of those stacks coming towards this IG. They would love to have that Kindred at a better point of power. OMG now have to walk into Fog of War without that cleanse on Arn. That could potentially be very dangerous. Need to see if OMG can get themselves some good damage down, and whether Harry can be that front line he's been for the last couple of team fights.
Alrighty then, we are in a position where Baron spawned and up for grabs by one of these teams. It is OMG in command of the river right now. But we've seen them mess up from positions like this just last game, guys. Hell, they nearly did it in game 1.
Yep.
It's not been easy to hold on to a lead in this game, despite all attentions otherwise. Angel steps on full, gets a chunk, but at this point, Nani is very tanky.
When you max out your W and you have the Chaotic Rooker, well, he doesn't even have the Chaotic Rooker. He's just maxed out that W, and he has a Warbox. I feel like Angel into Nani is not that important of a matchup anymore. You need, I mean, to kill this Galio as the LeBlanc, you need, what, a Leandries at that point? It's really, really difficult. He can't burst through him. OMG, they're going to get themselves another recall. They get themselves a Vamp Scepter on Starry, and we're not going to get ourselves, like, the game-ending blow at this point. Very, very even. So, IG, what is their game plan? They have themselves potential for a YSCam teleport. That's very important. Flash teleport. That's another arrow. Ooh. This time on, no flash. Pixel perfect cleanse. So close to potentially throwing the entire game. Starry, his accuracy has improved somewhat.
Yeah, beginning to draw a bead on in. No puns towards the Tristana happening, but Robin Hood may not be quite yet, but the training arc is nearly over. We all see how that works in anime. They were the underdogs for a lot of this game. Looking like they might be right here to fight back and claim game 3.
Yeah, so now what are IG going to do? Do they have any wards? They don't have any wards. This is the big thing. They don't have anywhere for YSChem to get a flank onto. OMG going to start burning this down. Very, very powerful. Starry, can he start damaging through Nani? Nani is completely spaced out.
Boy.
This is not where he wants to be.
Flashing away. Vampire gets to the backline. Tianjin stays alive though, and then he's gone. Trying to get some more damage. Solar Flare sets him right close to the sun. The damage back from YSChem is solid enough for now, but it's just isolated. Another comes back on through. On, untouched. GLFS gets the ultimate, but a Q3 from Harry is gorgeous. And down goes on. Triple kill to Starry. Quadra kill, I apologize to Angel. You'd think I could read the screen.
And OMG are the only team in the LPL that can win a goddamn team fight with a Lee Sin kicking a cannon onto their carries. OMG, they throw game 2. They're behind in game 3, but it is Invictus Gaming who walk away broken. They walk away shattered. IG find themselves at 1 and 3, falling to the hands of the old gods.
Oh my days, it was a rough river rapids of a game, but down the waterfall they go. And you be damn sure they'll be loving Angels after the end of this game. A stellar series from their mid lane.
I can't believe they won in a team fight. That cannon gets kicked onto the carry.
I know.
Folks, this is Chinese League of Legends, folks. This is the LPL. OMG walk away with a 2-1 victory over IG, and you know, at the start of today, I thought that IG were probably coming in the better team. I don't know what I leave feeling. I feel like OMG were the better team for like most of game 1 and 2. They weren't really the best team in game 3, honestly, but they walk away with the victory. Now, IG, we said tentatively the benchmark is you kind of want to get about 4 wins to get yourself into a safe spot.
Yeah.
You're now at 1 and 3. The maximum amount of wins that IG can get is 4. They are in a absolutely awful position beyond this point now. And OMG, credit to them. 3-0 out of this OMG squad. If you watch the way this team played in groups, if you watch the way that they played, even against RNG and EDG, you would be questioning whether this team can scrape together even a couple of wins beyond this point. They have started out with a huge head of steam.
Shout out to Trouble in chat as well there, saying this is peak League of Legends. It comes from the LPL. How you doing, Georgia? Good to see you. I hope you're enjoying the chaos as much as we are.
You know what? I think I did pen down a day next week. By the way,
Hell yes.
folks, by the way, just so you know, I'm Alex, I'm Nymaera, this is Sam, also known as Initialise. Trouble, who's in chat, is another LPL caster, who's a good friend of ours. Trouble, if at some point next week, I think it's either Tuesday or Wednesday, there are some really good games there, you could come and cast with us if you want, because when there is no